Because it's back to school. It's a big deal. I feel like we spend a month out of the year waiting for summer, and then we spend a month getting ready for school.
Yeah.
And you're never really ready for school.
That's what I was thinking before we started this. I was like, are you ever really quite ready for school to start?
Did you do school shopping yet?
I did. I don't have everything. Well, my mom did some of it for
What?
me while I was gone. She's weird like that. She's like, can I go finish your school shopping? I was like, sure. Why not?
Are you ready?
No.
Here's a
Let us
credit
know if
card.
you're ready.
Put
'Cause we
those.
wanna know.
What do we have? What's the fun emoji for like school
A
supplies?
pencil,
Notebooks?
a notebook,
Pencil.
a computer,
School bus?
a mouse, a sack, lunchbox. I mean,
A crazy
bus?
face.
A mouse.
A picture.
Computer mouse?
I just saw like it's going around on Facebook where a guy is having like a teacher is telling their parents like teach your kid what a mouse is because they're all touch screen. So they go to school and they get these mouses and they don't know what they are because they're used to.
Wow, that's crazy.
I read that a school went back to textbooks instead of iPads, and their test scores are off the charts.
I feel like they should stay that way.
I do too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to us. Hi, Bobby Joe.
No, they.
Hi, Jean. Encouraging the high school juniors to get to bed earlier, right? Hi, Amanda. Oh, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Who else we got on? Well, good afternoon, guys. I am Bree. This is Kim. This is Renee, and this is Fancy Nancy. And the next 4 weeks, we are here to talk to you about back to school and what it means to us, to give a mom's perspective on it. But also next week, and then 2 weeks after that, we have Dr. Alex, new mom.
Yes.
She's, how old is Teddy? 2 months?
No idea.
Months?
Infant. Newborn.
Infant. Baby.
Baby.
So she can ask us all our mom questions,
Mhm.
and we can ask her all the doctor questions. Next week we're doing anxiety and ADHD and the gut-brain connection. I'll reference my Adderall story, and we can talk about all the different stuff about that. But I'm looking forward to that. So this week, we're talking about why it matters and knowing your rights as a parent, because you have them.
You do?
You do.
Are you sure?
But you can't believe the amount of moms that just say, well, school does those snacks, so we're just going to
Yeah,
let it be.
or it's
Well,
uncontrollable. Like I can't control it. They're just there at school. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be different for your 6-year-old versus your 16-year-old, or 6-month-old versus 36-year-old, but there's definitely things that you can do that matter, that make school experience better. You hear nowadays in the classrooms these kids are going crazy, and they're all in the doctor's offices, and they're in the principal's office, and I think sometimes their little brains just can't handle it. Can't handle the stress and the anxiety and the food and the sugar and all the different things that we do. But
Speaking of sugar, I just saw a thing on Facebook. Do you guys know the Daddy Shark song?
Yeah.
yes.
I'm not
For
gonna
sure.
sing it.
Come
Please.
on,
Wait,
sing
is it
it.
Daddy
I
Shark?
don't know what it
How does
is.
it go? It's Daddy Shark or Baby Shark?
I don't know
Kylie,
what
if
it
I send
is.
you a picture for something I'm going to talk about later, is it too late to
Shark.
Oh
pop
yeah,
it up?
Baby Shark.
And then
That's
it
what
goes
is.
up. Yeah.
Baby Shark. Do do do.
So you are gonna
Whatever.
sing it.
Well, I just did. I think maybe it'll get more attention if I do sing the Baby Shark song. But anyway, they just announced.
Whoa,
Kellogg.
we just lost all our viewers. I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
Baby Shark would do it.
Maybe if you were singing it.
Oh, we would lose.
But
We would lose everybody.
This is true. What was I starting to say?
Cereal. the
Kellogg
sugar.
is coming out with a cereal, perfect timing for back to school, called Baby Shark, I think, and it is basically Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms
Mixed together.
mixed together. It's berry O's and marshmallows.
That's awesome for back to school.
Yeah, I mean, I would eat it.
So if we're taught
I
to
would
think
not
differently,
eat it. Would not.
I just picture a little brain and the little neurotransmitters inside. That's how my brain works. And the little neurotransmitters inside of it. And these little. Come on, we're real. This is the
I'm
name of the
listening.
show.
This is
I'm listening.
Don't you picture text messages with little wings flying around each other's phones?
what?
Does
No.
that? Anyways, picture the.
Remember how I said she should have
I was
waited
gonna
one more
say,
day to come
it's
back?
one
to
more
work?
day
on
before she
vacation
comes
for a
back.
week.
You need another day to decompress
Yeah.
and let go of whatever you have going on over here.
Whatever works. It makes sense in my brain.
That's what matters.
And-
Okay, so sugar, little brains.
Yeah, their neurotransmitters just going crazy on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the outside, the kids are just going crazy
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they're starting their morning with.
It's all
It
sugar.
matters. But back to your rights as a parent.
Mhm.
Obviously, we talk about food on the show till we're dead in the face constantly. But
it's similar to Blue.
you're messing me
But-
up today.
Okay, sorry.
Just kidding.
Back to my point.
Snacks.
Snacks.
We're gonna do snacks in a couple weeks. But what do you do as a parent? What can you do? Why does it matter?
Well, it matters for a couple of reasons. Number one, you need to send your own snacks. Number two,
Can
the
you do
reason.
that?
See, I don't know if you can at all schools. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, yeah, you sure?
I'm gonna tell myself I can.
I don't know. My
I'm
kids are in a
sure
different
you
school.
can.
Like my kids go to private school. I can bring. Most of the teachers are very good about it. I bring in a bag of food or healthy snacks that they can have. I don't want my kids sitting there being the only one that can't have something and not having an alternative of some sort. Otherwise, then they feel, in my opinion, I feel like they feel like they're being punished. Like, well, I
Mhm.
can't have anything. Whereas, but I have heard from teachers, at least at our school, that if you send along a bag, it makes it a lot easier for them. Or some of them are really good and let you know ahead of time. They'll be like, hey, so and so is having a birthday party. This is what they're bringing in. This is what's in it. Can your child have it? No, great. Send an alternative. But I also like, we were talking, I know in kindergarten, no, junior kindergarten, whichever one, they count with like M&Ms and do like
Mhm.
color
Oh, yeah.
sorting and things
Oh,
like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
And then of course as a treat, you get to eat a couple M&Ms.
Mhm.
I don't want my kids eating the M&Ms, but I know every other kid in that classroom is eating them. So if they have a bag of snacks, they can use something else in place of those M&Ms to play those games.
Even if you're a step better, if your child is, I mean, my youngest, it's so much easier than my oldest because we didn't start switching till she was, 7,
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
years old till we really started learning what we were doing and working on her anxiety different ways. When you start them really young, I could probably send little trees, as Jace would call them, broccoli, to count with. If I did that with Bella, she'd have looked at me like she was crazy and she was
Yeah.
missing out. So we
Mhm.
did it's still going, a swap campaign,
Mhm.
start somewhere campaign. And even though there's still sugar, there's no dyes or preservatives or sodium benzoate. They make natural alternatives now to
Mhm.
M&Ms, to, I'm going to call them M&Ms because that's what my kids call them, to
M&Ms.
M&Ms, to Starburst, to
Yep.
Skittles. They're out there. The
Yeah.
options are out there.
And
Amazon.
I still call them by that name. Like we got Starburst the other day. They're not actually Starburst, but they're Wholesome brand or something
Yeah.
that I found at
Oh, yeah,
Woodman's.
those
But
chews.
they're so,
So
good.
good.
And my kids think they're Starburst.
The only thing with it that you have to be
Do those
careful
have-
of, no. What I'm saying is though, is if your children go to somebody else's house,
See,
can I have a
yeah.
Starburst? They're gonna say yes, and they're not gonna know the difference.
That's a good
Mhm.
point.
That's what I
Yeah.
did with Mike. We started calling it like what it
We
was
did
when
that.
we were kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and all of a sudden my kids are like, oh,
I
the
can have a
sitter's like,
Starburst.
I can have that. I'm like, she's like, no, I don't think you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, I can. Mom gives it, and I was like,
Mom gives me
because I'm
Starburst.
calling them the same thing that we
Mhm.
used to call
Well,
them.
that's actually what just happened this weekend. All of the prizes for the games for a get together that we were at was candy.
Mhm.
So you did the game and then you got a piece of candy. You did the game, got a piece of candy.
Right.
So my kids were stuffing their pockets, and then Brian would, oh, let me see, what did you get, and put it back in the bowl every time. But I was like, well, we brought our own Starburst. But you're right, because when I said that to my family, they were probably like, you just brought Starburst. But no, I mean it was not. It's not just.
We did that with
Starburst.
juice.
What do you need to bring your own for?
Yeah.
We
right?
call kombucha juice, and for
Yeah.
years, or not years, well, yeah, I can have juice. Jason's coming home, lips broken. No, he doesn't really
No,
have
that kind of
juice.
juice.
He has kombucha.
Mhm.
So there's options, but we were talking. We start talking about our show and trying to prep for it the best that we can. So we're semi-prepared and we know what each of
Little
us
bit.
is talking about a little bit. And then
Some
we
of
say
us.
all the good stuff.
Like
and we
super
say, no,
teacher.
don't talk about that. Save that for the show. But you were talking about a comment that your teacher made about sitting Caden after lunch.
Oh yeah.
Out of the blue.
Just the difference in their behavior after lunch. You know, my kids get very seldomly. I will give them like I call them fun snacks or a sweet snack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But very seldomly I will send something in their lunchbox just because either way, organic sugar or not good, it's still sugar. You know what I mean? And I don't want them all. But the teacher noticed that the behavior and the difference of my kids compared to some of the kids there was astronomical because other kids that are getting sent the shark
Yeah,
cereal
right.
or
The
you know what I
artificial
mean?
colors and flavors.
Yep,
Yeah.
that they're just
Mhm.
like off the wall, bouncing all over the place. They actually put in an extra recess so that these kids can get some energy
Burn it
out
off.
right after
Jeez.
lunch. What do you need an extra recess for? Because they're all jacked up. They don't know what
Right.
they can't concentrate. They can't pay attention to what's going on around them. They're just, I mean, you can, and that's why, like, when you're doing your little neurotransmitters, I think
Come
to myself,
on, it makes
no, but I think to
sense.
myself sometimes when we're out
Yeah.
and I see my kid,
Nice
I
to
see
know
our
that.
kids compared to some other kid. You can
Yeah.
definitely tell when they've been pumped full of sugar. Now, you can tell with my kids. My kids don't get it very often.
because
so-
they don't get it very often.
But
so
when
then
they do, it's
affect
like, boom, you know, and they're
Mhm.
just, but you got to remember too, is Sid just had a play date, and a lot of people, you know, when we say we're gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, diet, you know, you have to get specific with these people, because she went on a play date and she ended up getting a whole bunch of candy bars that I was not okay with.
So
but-
did she eat them while she was there?
One of them, the other one she brought home.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't.
But and it's so hard at that age too, because how old is she?
7.
Because she doesn't like my 10-year-old is starting to be like, no thanks. You know, she'll start to say no to certain things. But
Right.
at that age, it's like,
I'm like,
Do I
at
say
10?
no?
No. I'm
I
like,
mean-
I got a 13-year-old, and I think she missed that one.
yeah, she missed that. Kylie's
She-
pretty
yeah.
serious, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you
same
know
kind of thing.
how you feel when you eat bad. It's
Yeah.
the same thing with kids. But as a parent, you have a right. Private school, public school, homeschool. You have a lot of rights if you homeschool.
Mhm, yeah.
To bring in your own snacks. To tell your teacher, we're going to talk about on Labor Day the 5 main things to avoid that are really going to affect behavior. But you can bring in, you know, a list of this is what they can't have. But what we found was even easier was to bring in, here's the snack box.
Yeah,
Here's
just
the,
give them a
here's
bin
the
of
things
things they can
have.
pick
We
from.
would grab a box of when Bella had to be dairy free strictly of popsicles and throw them in the fridge. And when
Mhm.
kids brought in cupcakes or ice cream treats or anything, but now they were special popsicles or ice cream bars that she didn't get at home,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
which makes it special at school.
Mhm. And we do have some videos. Well, we're going to touch on it in a couple weeks too about like what the actual snacks are. But we do have some videos out there of like substituting snacks or school lunches and things like that.
But you can
That are out
bring
there.
it in
Oh,
for
yeah.
your child. You're not being a pest. In fact, the teachers, the ones that really start, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, change your thinking on this a little bit, but the teachers probably respect the parents that are finding other alternatives for
Mhm.
the kids. You hear all these stories nowadays where these teachers are just overwhelmed by what the kids, how they're acting and what they're doing. So the teachers
Well,
will
class
will
size
thank
alone.
you for that. Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
compound it
so-
with
Well,
all
and it's
that.
a lot to keep track of, food allergies, things like that. So if you
Mhm.
have a designated, this is what they can have no matter what. You know, I always felt bad. I appreciated it, but I couldn't believe that her teacher always is like, can she have this? Can she have this? 'Cause I
Mhm.
knew she wasn't the only one in class that lived our lifestyle. I knew there was a couple other families that did. So I feel like if you bring it in, it just makes it easier for them too.
So what is
Hi, Katie.
something?
Hi, Christy.
What is something that you would, or how would you handle it if your kid comes home and you do have snacks at school? And this is the whole setting boundaries thing, which I think we failed to do at the beginning of our year last year. So then towards the end, it got a little bit tricky. We didn't have that to fall back on. But as far as like setting that boundary at the beginning of the year, my kid can't have eggs. But somebody brings in cookies or cupcakes, and then she comes home saying, I had a cupcake, but I know I sent healthy treats. Then what? I mean, what's done is done. Move on. You know what I'm saying as
Yeah.
far as that goes. But
I think
what do you
that's
do to
clear
prevent it?
expectations and clear boundaries with the teacher.
Communication
Mhm.
too.
They
even.
cannot have anything that is not pre-approved.
But it's not really an allergy.
by whose standards?
But do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Is
that's
it
the
causing
response though.
inflammation?
Like she's allergic to peanuts, but she's not.
Is she sensitive or is it allergic?
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't
Is she
matter.
really allergic?
Like she can still breathe if she has
But
one.
Still-
explaining that to the teachers, or don't you have to feel like you need to? Like I feel like I have to explain myself.
I feel like I don't have to explain myself.
Right.
Maybe that's where we differ.
Right. So I
It's
feel
my
like I need to
child.
say,
It's my money that I'm paying for the snacks.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
providing you alternatives. I'm
Yeah.
asking you nicely. You just set that teacher up for success, and then we make sure they understand it.
yeah.
They
So then after
cannot
the
have
fact, just for experience or for other people, do you send an email? Do you
it. I'm not. I
talk to
start
them the
first
next
time.
morning?
Depends what level you're on with the teacher. I would talk
Yeah.
to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, hey, Kylie came home, said she had a cupcake in it.
Mhm.
You know, she didn't feel well last night. This is why. What do we need to do in the future
Yeah,
to make
what
sure
can
that
I
she
do to help
only
you?
does have her?
Well, I think that's key. Is like make it collaborative and make it so you're setting the teacher up to succeed as
Yeah.
well. Because it's like,
Yeah.
yes, it's a protection for your kids and it's letting you and your family succeed. But a teacher who's got 25 plus in her
I was
class,
gonna say,
Yeah.
give that
Right.
teacher
Like,
grace.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's not about you screwed up. How did you
Yes.
screw
like
up?
Yeah.
I
maybe
told
there
you
was
not
a
to,
sub
but it's the
that
other
day,
way. Yeah.
you know, or maybe
Yeah.
maybe something
And also,
happened.
depending on the age of the child, it's, you know, that's on them too. They know better.
Mhm. Yeah, depending on-
Sid is horrible at it right now.
Yeah, this is
Horrible.
Zoe, and she's not great.
Oh yeah, we
Seeds everything.
just recently switched her supplements and she squirts them in the sink, so I have to stand there and watch her. But it's the same with food with her.
She's a mini Kim.
She'll. I disagree.
I just,
yeah, I don't think so.
But
she
she
can't
will.
even say it with a
no,
straight
she
face.
can't.
Maybe not. Just mini me. But she'll sneak, you know, and she'll even if she knows it's bad, she will not do it. And then you have Kaden on the opposite side who's yelling at people in the grocery store for buying regular strawberries over organic strawberries. So it's like I literally have to.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And Sid was, from the get-go, probably fed better than Kaden was in the beginning. But they do. They're gonna still sneak it. They're still gonna.
Do
Weren't
the
we talking about
best
that? Do the best
depending
you
on the-
can.
At the end of the
Yeah,
day.
it's all the kid and all the different phases. Because my daughter will counsel her friends and set up these workshops of, here's why you don't eat this, and here's why you don't eat this, and here's why you don't eat this, but don't watch me because I'm gonna go take this right now.
Right.
Like, so it's all depending
I
on
feel
the
like the
moment,
more
depending on
mad
the
and I yell
surroundings,
at
depending
Sid,
on
the worse she gets about it. I feel like
To see Ashley's coming.
and it all ebbs and
Yes.
flows.
Ashley says, this year
Yeah.
I'm telling my kids' teachers if they want to survive my kids' craziness, do not feed them the animal sugar and fake colors. Seriously.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Carrie says, at what age can you start giving them kombucha? After one.
Yeah.
Once you've started introducing, I mean, man, my kids drank kombucha from early on. It's not something to be scared of.
No.
It is tea and probiotics.
I mean, like it's
And I
probiotic.
cannot believe it is
Mhm.
not just you, Carrie. The world is scared of kombucha.
Why?
I don't know. I'm pregnant. Can I have kombucha?
Oh, like the
Yeah.
essential oils.
You know.
Like I'm pregnant, can I do essential
Yes,
oils?
sure. It might give you the runs if you eat really bad and you also have a kombucha,
Yeah,
but
right.
absolutely, it's totally fine. You can give it to your kiddos. Don't put it in their bottle at 2 weeks old. Straight breast milk still, but yeah.
I feel like
once
that
they're
wouldn't be very
eating-
good out of a bottle anyway.
That doesn't
Right.
sound
No,
good.
it should be cold.
Any brands? Any of the brands are good. Obviously, I'm going to go towards organic, and you're going to want to find some that do not have added sugar. So
Mhm.
kombucha is made with sugar. So they start the tea, they add the SCOBY. It's the living. I don't know
That's
what
the
you call it
gross
other than
part
the
that you
SCOBY.
should
It's
be
the part
afraid
that
of.
looks like a
Oh.
mushroom, and that
A symbiotic
feeds
colony
off.
of
What
I
is
have
it?
this
You have
right
a
here.
definition?
no, like it's
If
an
you eat
acronym.
it, why are you
It's
gonna
a
die?
symbiotic colony of
Oh.
micro. Shoot.
It's
Okay,
bacteria.
there's a couple more, but yes, and
Microbiome
bacteria.
something.
Yeah,
That's close.
That feeds off
You
the
made it
sugar.
far.
I got halfway through.
Which creates the fermentation process, which keeps the SCOBY alive. So the theory is that almost all the
Sugar.
sugar is eaten up in the fermentation process. Right. So one of the brands they were just showing me one back there, but that is found everywhere is Synergy. But yeah, just there are ones that will sweeten it with sugar after the fact. Don't
And
buy
she's-
an expensive drink that they add sugar after the fact.
And she
That's
said,
just
is
not
there
good.
a brand that tastes better than others? I feel like
I like anything
it
fruity.
depends on what you like, what kind of
What your
flavor you
taste
like,
Well,
I think.
And here's the thing, and it's the flavor of the actual product. So I like Synergy because it doesn't have the sugar added after. Jeremy cannot stand anything that smells like vinegar, remotely like a kombucha, whatever.
Yeah.
But I found this Cascara spice flavor from Synergy that tastes like spiced cider.
Ooh,
So
now,
it's
is that like a
good.
seasonal one where it's
No,
out for a month?
no,
You
it's
can
one of
only
their
find it
it's
in
one of their
Hawaii
new
or
ones that
something.
they've got
Yeah.
the adaptogenic teas with the reishi and chaga and turkey tail in it, and then they do it with maple and mulling spices.
Oh, or like
It's-
that root beer one that
And
John
he drank
found
it.
Yeah,
too.
the root
Which
beer
is
one.
way
Yeah.
too much for me, and I drink all
Wait,
kombucha.
not the live one though. The other one with mushrooms in it.
Too
Oh,
much.
I didn't like that one.
Rachel says she was a teacher for years. It's easier if you send it in. Thank you, Rachel. I'd also I'd tell the teacher in person and with the child present. So the child knows
Ooh.
that you're all on the same page.
And so
I
the
like
teacher
that.
probably
Oh.
knows too. but-
Maybe have a list of allergies in the kids' planner or folder. Bobby Joe said I had someone freak out on me because of the alcohol content in kombucha. There's more alcohol in hand sanitizer than there is in kombucha.
So drink
And some
that,
of our
or
liquid
don't
herbs
drink
too.
And it
right?
goes,
So
and it
drink
goes straight
that.
to the bloodstream. Yeah. Back in the day, Miley Cyrus or Lindsay Lohan, one of them got caught, pulled over, drinking and driving. They tried to blame it on their kombucha. From there, they pulled all the kombucha off the market. Don't you remember all this?
No.
What?
They pulled all the kombucha off the market. They relabeled it all, and now you can only get the really good Synergy Classic Black Label kombucha in certain states. Wisconsin is not one of them. Fun fact Monday.
Wow. Had no idea.
I feel like this. I'm like, I want a road
Monday.
trip and find this Black Label stuff.
That went.
That'd be
The
so fun.
classic. We've gotten it before. The Black Label grape in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Hawaii that I
They
saw
have it in Hawaii too.
Yeah.
Florida.
I didn't know that was the deal with it though.
Yeah.
I probably would have
There's
enjoyed
a
it more.
lot-
I
Suit.
feel like you should know this.
I feel like I should too.
She's now going on a road trip to find the Black Label. She's the drinker out of all of us.
The kombucha drinker?
Not true.
I mean, you do have
Like-
your own bartender.
Well,
Touche.
yes. I just call that preparedness.
It's all about how you call it.
For those that haven't seen, we did an episode on healthy, clean, alcoholic drinks. We had fun. Renee's bartender, aka Jeremy,
My
aka our husband.
Yeah.
Tequila is cool.
Tequila
is cool.
It's the only one you can have if you have an
So-
yeast allergy.
So Stephanie says you get carded in Oregon and you can't
Correct.
buy it before 7 a.m.
Certain ones. Not all the kombuchas. If you go to your actual grocery store and there's there's different brands. I would assume, unless I'm wrong. Correct us if we're wrong. Who said that, Stephanie?
Yeah, Stephanie Haynes.
Ah,
Warned
That
me
is
about
cool.
giving my kids kombucha because of the alcohol content, long-term effects.
yeah.
See, here's the thing. Okay, we're gonna warn them about the alcohol content in kombucha, but you're gonna let them have the orange crush sodas,
yeah.
or any of the Cokes, Mountain Dews. Those are fine. Those are fine with the flame retardant and all the colors and everything in it.
But not the.
But not
Brominated
kombucha.
vegetable oil
Ugh.
is also known as flame retardant. It's also
Yeah.
what's in the glucose drink when you're pregnant, and it's also what is in Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't do the do.
Don't do the do.
Remember the commercials? Is that still a thing?
Do the do? Yeah.
Don't
Do-
know
I
the
do remember
things
that one.
you're talking about.
Because I was
I
a
don't
Mountain Dew
know
girl.
the Mountain Dew.
Don't start singing Baby Shark because we said
I
do
was
do.
thinking about it. Do, do, do,
Back to stuff and ingredients and different things. Carly, can you pop up that picture I sent you?
Oh, I
I
want to
don't know if you
see.
guys have seen this. I can pull it up on my
I'm
phone
like,
for you
what is
too.
it? What are we looking at? I don't
But
know.
I
there
know, what
was
picture?
a school, and so we're moving on
Oh, I
from
know
the
what
food
you're
sector
saying.
no
Oh, I
one
know what you're
rights.
saying.
There was a school in
Mm.
Boca Raton, Florida, and one of the pictures. This is recent. This is
Did you
true.
put it
It's
right?
all over the internet.
We're on a leg.
Let's see here.
30 seconds later, we'll see it.
Says, no shots, no school, no kidding. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. In the state of Florida, they still have a religious exemption. Yet they're putting on their public school displays
Fear-mongering.
no shots,
Mm.
no school, no kidding. We here, so in the state of Wisconsin, we are completely blessed, and we still have 3 exemptions. I had a sample of the paperwork, and I forgot it on my desk.
Oh.
Religious, medical, which means you need an MD to sign off, usually it's like egg allergy or different things like that, and they'll still won't sign off. And then we still have personal conviction. You check a box, and it basically says, I don't want to, I don't have to. It's on the bottom of the form. You'll see it in all your daycares and all your Wisconsin forms. Obviously, Mississippi, California, they don't have any exemptions anymore. I don't know for sure. I know California is one. I know Florida is reaching for it. But right now, in Florida, they have a religious exemption. So that is fear mongering, and it's happening in the daycares. I see it in the sites within the daycares.
Mhm.
Even in Wisconsin, my child doesn't have shots. Yes, you have the right in many states to say no. There are states you cannot, and I know the only option is homeschooling. Me, I would move or I would homeschool because I could, my kids, yeah. Anyways, we won't get into that, but you have the right. It's another thing you get to choose. You don't just have to do it because they tell you you have to. But
And that goes back to the thing that we're always saying, which is
oh,
do your
Florida
research.
has religious and medical exemptions to vaccines. This is a lie. No shots, no school is not true.
But do your research. I mean, look it up for your state instead of just assuming that that billboard is correct.
Right.
Somebody posted coercion. Class A misdemeanor or Class D felony. A person is guilty of coercion whether he compels or induces another person to engage in contact which such other person has a legal right to abstain from or engaging in. So
they have a legal right to, you have a
They have a
legal right
legal
to
right.
not vaccinate.
So they are literally putting out there, no shots, no school, no kidding, is a lie.
Hmm.
They legally have the right to check the boxes if they don't want to. So know your rights. Go to the Google. Go to your paperwork and see what your rights are. The only states that I absolutely know of for sure right now for public school is California, and I think I've heard possibly Mississippi, but I have not
I've
studied
heard
every
Mississippi
state.
too.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Rachel
Which-
said my state's a mess. It is. You should move.
You should to Canada.
Yes. Callie says, I'm afraid of them taking away our rights for vaccine exemptions
too.
in New York and taking away state.
It's happening. Stand
Well,
up.
And it's bigger than vaccines. It's like, since when can the government make these decisions for you, period?
Right.
You know? Like,
Mhm.
it's bigger than vaccines.
And then on a more, it sounds similar to what I was saying before. I feel bad. I'm obviously the feeler, but I feel weird checking that on my paper and turning it in because I feel like I'm going to be judged.
Or that your kid's
When
going
I
to be
turn
judged.
it in, my kid's going to be judged or whatever. Like, I probably wouldn't announce that my kids are not vaccinated, but when I check that box on the sheet, even though I'm
you
allowed
get that
to,
right
I
to
turn
decide.
that in.
You get the
Right.
right, and you should legally have the right to decide if other people get to know your child's medical history or not.
That's
You
true.
have the right to
Yeah.
decide, I don't vaccinate.
Mhm.
You have the right to decide that.
So just check it on the paper and turn it in and don't feel bad about it.
No, you don't have to advertise it either.
No.
It's not, if you're not comfortable
shoot.
with it, it's your business. You
I
don't.
think I just did.
I mean, maybe a little.
I think being on the show advertises that. Back to your rights, let's talk about another big one in the classroom. For those of you that are just joining, obviously we have to hit the replay button. That's our classic thing if you're watching the replay. We're talking about knowing your rights in school, and of course we had to talk about food and your right as a parent, snacks, special treats. We got some teachers chiming in. If you are a teacher, let us know. Let us know how we can tell the parents to best support you.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain
Right.
it to my teacher, but teachers definitely can help get behind this stuff. You had some thoughts on
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting because teachers kind of have this default authority over your own child because of the position that they're in. So I think it's just that much more important for the parents to be connected immediately and set those boundaries because the teachers, I mean, your kids are taught to respect them as soon as they walk through the door. Sometimes they respect their teachers better or more easily than they do their own parents because of the position. You know, I mean, you have to call them Mrs. Brown or whatever. So it's like just by default, that's already there. So making sure that they're on the same page. But kind of what we were talking about before as far as teaching your child everything at home before they go to school. So it's not like a afterthought of Kylie learned that you need to have 4 glasses of milk and 2 loaves of bread every day, Brie, or 8 slices. You know what I mean, though? So
That's
if they're
only
learning that at
technically
school
4
and then
for
you
me
go,
and 4 for Jackson. Because I'm
that doesn't
breastfeeding.
count. I don't think you split your diet in half if you're breastfeeding. You're really good
I'm
at
pretty sure
justifying
you
things.
eat the 8 slices whether you're breastfeeding or not.
I'm pretty sure in the past week and a half I've eaten maybe 3 pieces
Didn't
of
you
bread.
text us saying like you don't have to worry about my bread this
It was
week?
funny.
It was
Anyways,
not-
Nancy's
but really,
right.
I mean,
Knowing your
teaching,
rights.
yeah, and teaching the kids before they go to school.
Do
So
you know
that
you
they
can
know.
ask what they're learning? Obviously, it's going to be different public versus
Yeah.
private and where your school's at and different things. You can ask what unit they're in. So we
Mhm.
transitioned out of private school into public school at around 3rd grade, and I was adamant that she didn't start learning evolution at the
Mhm.
time, that we were still creating these bases. She's still little. I don't expect her
Little.
to fight it. Now she's
Mhm.
in middle school. You need to learn it. You need to see what they're seeing in the world. You know,
Mhm.
you need to learn the
You can't
facts
be
to combat.
sheltered about
Yes,
it.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
And the teacher just said to me, nope, the only thing we're learning in science this year is it's a world unit. It's rocks.
Mhm.
Rocks and fossils and volcanoes and nature. And I was like, okay,
Geology
sweet. So they
stuff.
weren't even doing any of the
Notice.
biology
Yeah.
type stuff. But you can ask what they're learning. So when they're
Mhm.
going to be doing a unit on GMOs, yes, they do it. You can combat it at home. So maybe, I don't know if you have the right to say, I know you can with religious stuff. I want my
Mhm.
child to sit out sex ed. I want my child to sit out of the evolution unit. I don't know if you can say I want my child to sit out of the vaccine unit or the GMO unit or the
Or health class as a
Health
whole
class.
when they're
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
the food pyramid.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can sit out of that, but
Yeah.
if they can't, if you know that, let us know. If you're a teacher, Rachel, do you know? But obviously you're in a different state, but you can teach it at home.
Mm-hmm.
So when she came home with how GMOs were good and they were, you know, forward, bringing our world forward, we were able to pull up all the details.
Yeah, or when Kylie came home with a book that said something about, it was teaching the food pyramid, but it said something about, like, if you're hungry before bed, drink a glass of milk or something, or like make sure you're getting, 4
Yeah.
servings of calcium or whatever the case was. I'm like,
Speaking of this, since our classic, we are funny. Do you remember the nut milk video?
did you say
Milking
that?
the almonds.
When he was milking the almonds.
Yes. So there's a big movement in the world right now. This is what we're focusing our time on, not orphans or
Yeah.
starvation or whatever. We're forcing it on that nut milk
Oh, yes.
should not be able to be called milk. That
Mm.
almonds don't make milk.
That
Cow's
is
milk
so
isn't,
funny.
so it should be, I don't know, nut juice
I
or
don't- nut juice.
nut
That
water.
does not sound like I would not drink
Anyways,
nut juice.
you gotta go find it. We'll post it in the comment. It's completely non-related to anything in
No.
Wellness Way or the show, but we've got to give you all the new stuff. They're
My
milking
dad actually
almonds.
showed me that.
It is
because
Uh-huh.
hilarious.
The family
hilarious.
drank almond milk.
It's funny
Yeah.
that you brought that up though, because Kylie brought yogurt to my in-laws, and they're like, I don't understand how you can have this yogurt. It's made with almond milk, and it still has milk in it. It's not. It doesn't have milk in it like cow's milk. It has almond milk, nut juice.
Nut juice.
So
Nut
I
juice.
guess maybe
I really don't think we should stick with that one.
nut
New
juice
Wellness
yogurt.
Way recipe.
But
2
really, I
ounces
thought
of
it was
nut
funny.
juice.
Yeah. But I thought it was funny. Apparently, that's a thing. I didn't realize people thought that. But
I
guess
didn't
it's
either.
confusing. It's almond. It's yogurt made out of almond.
Because it's still cultured. It's still got all the.
The Symphony's bacterial whatever
Oh yeah,
in it.
somebody actually
It's a
commented on
symbiotic
that.
colony
Symbiotic.
of
Did you just say
micro
symphonies?
something and
Symphony. She put it in here. Ashley put it
And
in
yeast.
here, but I don't remember what it is. Symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast.
yes.
Thank you. Is
Bacteria.
that Ashley?
That was Ashley. I
I'm
think
struggling.
she's a chemist. Has a
Oh
degree
yeah.
in
Your
science.
husband. Is it milk or milk?
Or milk.
It's
Milk.
milk with an I.
It's myth.
My mother says milk. It is milk. M-I-L-K.
Milk.
Come on, everybody's had the classic argument.
Yes, we have.
So yeah, empower your teachers. Can you imagine if
Jean,
I'm not talking to
that's
her
not
anymore.
something
Can
I would
you
expect to see
imagine
you
I'm-
type.
if
fun.
teachers
Jean thinks
Just
nut
to see
juice
Jean
is
say nut
perfect.
juice. I think that's awesome.
seed juice?
I love it.
I'm sure Doc would
Seed
think nut
juice?
juice is perfect too.
Probably.
I feel like maybe we should make
Look
our
at
own
this. I
video about
remember
nut
what-
juice.
Can you imagine
What do you
if
think?
all teachers knew about the other options or were able to send parents to different Wellness Way clinics?
Can you
or-
imagine providing a resource to the teachers about different reward options or things that are affecting their kids?
Yeah.
I mean, let's
We
not give
forgot
them
about
candy
that.
for a
It
reward
does not
every
have to be
day.
candy. Oriental Trading or Amazon now, I'm sure, for the cost of a bag of candy, like
Oh,
Would
Kim, didn't you have an idea
teachers
for a
prefer
reward?
that parents brought in 50 little fidget spinners.
Oh.
Pencil?
Well, it
I
wasn't
know.
an idea. It's what she actually gets.
Right.
Like at. Are you trying to?
I'm writing on a notebook.
Subscribe.
No, we have, so their library, like if they read for the month, whatever they get, and then at the end of the year, they get prizes, but everything at the library, there's no food. Like
Mhm.
they get pencils, I think weekly if they turn their books in, which is awesome. I mean, Sid has like a mass collection of pencils. Like we will
But
never.
are they sharpened?
No.
Never.
No,
No,
they're never
they're
sharpened.
never
You have to bring the sharpened ones to school for,
Yes.
but no, they don't come back
They're not
sharpened.
sharpened.
But like, or at the end of the year, they have diaries and notebooks. Like my daughter's like she doodles everywhere. There's pictures. So anyway, she gets excited about that. Whereas like
Yeah.
she had like the most amount of a
Mhm.
large amount of resoles, and they gave her king size Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
Right?
talking about pencils?
Candy bar.
Candy bars.
Candy
Now we're on
bars.
that
Candy
part.
bars.
King
bars.
size candy.
4 of them.
That's right.
4. 4. That's ridiculous. She got more excited about the pencils
Like,
and the paper.
they were
than she
probably
did
Can
good
you
about-
at
imagine
Yeah.
if the pencils were sharpened? How excited she would be? I would be more excited.
How did we
I
get
know.
here?
But that's like, okay, wait. So she
but
goes
really,
to her eye
rewards.
appointment. So every time she leaves her eye appointment, they have what, Tootsie Pops? Is it Tootsie? What are they
Tootsie
called?
Pop, or yeah,
What's it called?
I prefer the
Tootsie
Tootsie
Why is
Rolls.
that funny? Isn't it a Tootsie
You
Pop?
love Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls frozen.
but
Oh my
Tootsie
God.
Pops. How many licks does it take to
Okay,
get to the
anyway,
center
whatever.
of
The
Tootsie
Tootsie, the sucker with the Tootsie Roll in it. So anyway, they have that and they have stickers. Well, they always do a sticker plus a sucker, and I'm always the mom that's like, they cannot have suckers, they can
Mhm.
only have stickers. And people are like, well, how do you say no to your kids in public? I'm like, my kids
You
already
say-
know.
I say no.
No.
And they already know when we walk through that door, you do not get a sucker. You do not ask for a sucker. You don't even look
Nope.
at the suckers.
That's what we
I'm
did
just-
too, though.
I'm not
I mean,
that
we
bad.
prepped the kids. Like, okay,
Yeah.
there's going to be candy and food that you can't eat.
Yep.
You can't have the cookies. You can't have the Frito Lays, whatever.
Right.
But we packed all of this stuff for you. That's what you can have. Or balloons. Like my kids love balloons.
I want to
I
know,
don't love
Rachel, why you keep
No.
speaking in past tense. I was the queen of alternative rewards, and when I explained the kid version of the harms of food dyes, the kids would buy in. I had 5th graders. Why aren't you still teaching?
You should probably go, or you should lead up our teacher program.
Maybe she should come here, and we should have she should just homeschool.
She can just homeschool
Work-
all of our
work
kids.
school?
All of our kids.
No,
It'll
I
be
was
Wellness
thinking
Way
she should run
University
a
for
wellness,
kids. Create a
Wellness
school.
Way teacher program.
Yeah.
That's what she should run.
My kids
Oh my
were
God.
in some
yes,
classes.
we talked
That's
about
what I
that.
mean.
Resources for teachers, a series of videos,
Yeah.
a series of things that they can send parents.
Options.
So that we can
tools.
give them a
Obviously,
packet of
To
information
be
instead
realistic,
of
because we're a
receiving.
real show,
Yeah.
where you're teaching is definitely going to depend your
Oh,
resources.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
kids in your school,
Yeah.
if the teachers, it is what it is. It's real talk. If the teachers tell them you should go see the Wellness Way, your child's acting, they can do it. If you're in an inner city in Chicago, not necessarily.
But
we
then there are
understand your
still
hands
things
are
you
tied.
can do
So
as
what
a
as
teacher.
parents
Yeah.
can we do to support that?
Mhm.
If you know, comment, send us messages. We're happy to create. We've been toying with the idea of creating a teacher resource.
Mhm.
We just don't know what that looks like. But
Mhm.
props to you, Rachel, and all you other teachers out there.
Mhm.
So we talked a lot about it. You were going to talk about hand
Oh,
sanitizer.
that's right. We
like,
got on the
wow.
kombucha
No, I was
alcohol
totally
thing
fine.
instead.
I was fine.
Good.
Okay, well, hand sanitizer. When did it come up as like a huge rage? Years ago, but like early
Convenience.
2000s. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Of course, it kills the germs. It makes kids less sick, which is what they would like you to think, but it's not really true. So, the CDC itself is still recommending, hey, wash with soap and water, because this stuff is really only in as a backup. And there are these reports out there. Not too long ago, like 3 years ago, they eliminated the use of the most popular base ingredient for these hand sanitizers, which is, let's see, it was triclosan and trichlorocarbon? Wait,
I remember seeing
trichlocarbon?
that in hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so that was the main thing that they used. It's a non-alcohol base, so people liked it, right? But it's an antibiotic compound. And we know antibiotics, they wipe out the good stuff and the bad stuff. They were endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors.
Well, we've gotten away from antibacterial soaps. Now that's all the rage. Don't use
Mhm.
antibacterial soaps because it kills all the good bacteria.
Right,
So
right. So, but think about it, like only 3 years ago, they wiped this out. Well, how old was your kid 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like, oh, my kid was in grade school, or they were probably dumping this stuff on him all the time. Now they've gone to the alcohol-based ones. They've got 3 main ingredients, ethyl alcohol being their primary one. And right now, from what I was looking at, they're stopping kind of eliminating these things because they just want to see how good it works, and they want to see the effects of it. But what we know right away is that they load these things with artificial colors and scents, and those get dumped right into your bloodstream along with all the phthalates that make those artificial colors and scents and fragrances.
Yeah.
Right, which are endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors. And then the thing that they got into with the alcohol-based ones was the poisoning, right? Because it's so high. It's like 120 proof alcohol is what it's equivalent to. That it's like if you get a couple squirts in your mouth, little kids, when it smells like apples, think, okay, great. Well, it's the equivalent of a couple shots of booze. And then they get alcohol poisoning. And then you get the kids who are experimenting with alcohol, and they'll be experimenting with hand sanitizer because it's a really quick and easy way to get drunk. So, yeah.
Having just some soap and water?
Well, and that's, if you go to the CDC itself and look through all of their stuff, that's what they're still saying. Use soap and water. Use the soap and water. And it's...
But you can send, this brings us to back to our initial point of rights as a parent. You can send your own.
Mm-hmm.
You can send your own soap. You can send your own hand sanitizer. You can teach their kids, put it in their pocket. You can do that.
Well, and how many kids, like, I know a lot of public schools, like, especially for the little grades, they've got sinks right in their room. Just tell the teacher, you know what, I'll provide the soap. What is it, a couple bucks every, a month?
Right.
And,
Well, and then use the On
Tried it.
Guard soap, which actually has like good
Essential
stuff in
oils,
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's
So,
a good idea.
to wrap it up, you've got rights, you've got options, you just have to look for them. We are going to talk next week why it all matters, what we're looking at with the gut-brain connection, the food allergies, the anxiety. Kids don't say, Mom, I have anxiety.
No.
They say, Mom, I have a stomachache.
Or they just, like for Kylie again, in the mornings it was just crazy nerves every time I was dropping her off.
Mommy, I don't feel good.
Mhm.
Okay, so is that something medical? Now, there's a lot of things you can't just pull out the food and expect that to get better. There's different things that we can do. There's different processes, different testing that needs to be done, and we are going to have Dr. Alex Fenley from our Montana office on the show to talk to us about that.
So many questions for her. It'll be fun. So if you have any questions,
Yeah.
submit them or put them in the comments. And
If you're watching the replay, give us a like, give us a share. I mean, we prefer a love, but if you just want to give us a like, we would appreciate that so we can see who's watching, and we will see you guys next week.